Oh, the second question here follows the first one very, very well. It's a two-part question. It's what is the first step to seeking counseling? And how do I choose a counselor that's right for me? That's a really good question. I'm glad that we're addressing these questions because these are a lot of things that we don't necessarily talk about, right? We talk about topics in counseling, and we talk about how to be a counselor, and we talk about the theories of counseling, but don't talk too much about how do I even go about finding one, right? So I'll answer the first part first. What's the first step to seeking counseling? I'd say first, the first thing to do is just take a pause and thank God that he's given you the motivation to even seek any help. Right? Any step we take towards greater growth in Christ is ultimately derived from God's good pleasure and God's good kindness upon us. And it is always good to say, God, thank you for bringing me to a place where I am ready to receive counsel from your scriptures and your people. And I ask that you give me the grace to change and humility to see where I can grow. Right? The cornerstone of what it means to be a good counselee is to be humble. And humility is not something that naturally comes to us human beings. And so if God has brought you to a point of being ready to talk, thank him for that. And then pray for continued grace. We do need to remember that Satan prowls around like a roaring lion seeking someone to devour. And Satan hates counseling. And it's good for us to enlist God's aid as we seek that. I think the second thing that you can do is to connect with someone in your web of relationships that you can talk through your counseling with, right? So going back to what we talked about in the first question, counseling is not, here's the expert, here you are, let's go ahead and fix you. Rather, it's a process of growth surrounded by God's people. One of the things that I want from my counselees is actually for them to bring a wise and trusted friend with them for counseling. A lot of times that's a novel concept for somebody. But the reason for that is I don't have a relationship with my counselees beyond the hour or so that I see them once a week or a couple times a month, whatever it may be. And having a friend come along actually helps you process through the things that you're hearing and can kind of serve to be a really helpful dialogue partner throughout the rest of the week. The purpose of doing counseling is for you to grow. And humility wants to grow, even if it means exposing a little bit of yourself that you would prefer not to be exposed. And this is why we have good, godly, wise friends, right? For times like this, there can sometimes be a tendency of wanting to hide in counseling, saying, I don't want anybody around me to know what's going on. But think of it, those are the people that care for you most, that have been with you through thick and thin, and they're incredibly helpful. If that's not possible, I would just find someone that you can kind of deprogram from your counseling with. So whether it be a friend, go out to coffee with them, talk about it, go on a walk and talk with them, whatever it may be. It could be a pastor, a small group leader, a trusted friend, a godly, wise mentor. The more that you're able to kind of talk through what's going on in counseling sessions, the more helpful it'll be for you. So you're wanting to kind of bring your relationships into your counseling relationship there. So I say those would be two good first steps as you think about seeking counseling.